Good morning. Thank you for being a Patreon on this beautiful sunshiny morning. Okay, here we go. I'm going to show you some fun things that are happening. It's the middle of May right now, and things are looking beautiful here. You got to remember that our middle of May is like everybody else's middle of April because of our climate. Not everybody, but the common date to plant your gardens is the beginning of May. Well, here the common date to plant your garden is the beginning of June. If you don't get it in the beginning of June, you're done, because like the last day to plant here is the last of June. So when we plant our fall gardens is the last of June. If you bump it into the first week of July, you don't have time to grow anything in our climate because we have an 80-day growing season. So that's why we have an elaborate walloping greenhouse, is to be able to maximize food production here. But we can grow a lot of fun things outside. So I want to show you some of the things that are happening right now in the middle of May. So we're going to flip this camera around. And the first thing I want to show you is the compost this morning. We've been building this compost. This is the compost that we put together during boot camp. Those of you who came to spring boot camp, which was the last week of April, this is the one we put together, and I've turned it 3 times now. And it is at 160 degrees this morning. And when you check a compost temperature, you need to move the thermometer to different parts of the compost pile to see where we're at. So you can see it's moving up a little bit. And we could watch it for a minute, but it's stopping there at about 160. It's just going over 160. So this is fantastic. Yesterday it was at 170 in several spots. So this is great. So it's been a full 24 hours, so we're going to turn this today. The tulips are blooming beautifully. They are absolutely fantastic. You got to love a tulip. So they've been doing very well, which is really awesome. The other thing in the greenhouse is the water table has been very high, and here today right in the middle of May, we're still pumping water out of here. But instead of leaving this running constantly, I'm only turning it on twice a day. So every 12 hours I turn this on. And so you can see how full of water this trench is. And the strawberries are just beginning to ripen. So we're going to need to, keep the water out of here so I can come in here with my mud boots and get it done. The little bed that I planted the lettuce and what are they? Peppers in. They're growing. They're looking really good. And it does look like a jungle in here, which is fantastic. So I wanted to do a close-up and get a picture of the compost bin in here, the worm bin. So this is where the thermophilic compost goes. Thermophilic means hot, so the hot compost from outside goes in here once it stops being hot, because you don't want a hot compost where your worms are. But here's the mushrooms. See how thick they are across here? Now this particular variety of fungi, these aren't actually a mushroom, but technically speaking, a mushroom is something that's edible, I think. I don't know. Layman's terms get hard to deal with, but these little fungi that are blooming in here, they grow and they open early in the morning, and then in the evening, like by noon probably, afternoon, evening, they're completely gone. You can see these ones right here that are shriveled up right there, and they're just kind of slimy. Right here. Those are the ones that bloomed yesterday. So all of these will do that same thing. But your compost should look like this. Once it's done with the thermophilic stage, you need to let it sit for, 3 or 4, 5, 6 months, even a year, and let it mature and grow tons of fungus. And that's why we put wood chips in it. The wood chips are the thing that feed the fungi. So this is fantastic to see. We know that it's working well when we see this. The other thing that's happening right now, the middle of May, is we have lots and lots of seedlings coming up. All kinds of stuff. Little tiny seedlings that are coming. Lettuce that's ready to transplant. Squashes of all kinds. Pumpkins. We have a lot of stuff in here. I've got zinnias, marigolds, different kinds of flowers, nasturtiums, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflowers. These guys are looking pretty sad right now. They need to get transplanted. They're getting old. And so many of these things are for the students who are coming, and they will be here. Class starts the last week, or the second to last week. So they'll be here in a week. The end of this week, they will be here. So I have 4 students for the 17-week class. Right here, the green beans are coming up. So there's a green bean, there's a green bean. So they're just germinating and coming up. I would like to show you the tomatoes. So I'm just gonna reach over here. You can see the tomato in the bottom of the tomato cage. It's dark green, looking beautiful. And then next to it, I have left the celery stalks. Well, there's a couple here that are really big, but those are coming out soon. But the celery stalks that I cut off, they're 3 or 4 inches high, so the plants aren't dead, so they're still contributing to diversity of roots. And then we have cabbages, broccolis, cauliflowers, which are one plant family. And we have lettuce in there, which is another plant family. And I have random weeds and the celery stalks that have been cut off. And tomatoes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 plant families. And with the weeds that are just here and there that are being managed to grow, but not to be huge and big, then that's giving us the diversity we need to turn on the secondary metabolites, which gives us pest and disease resistance. So this is showing you what's happening the middle of May. I'm gonna have to come through my jungle here because I just want to show you what's going on over here. This is super exciting. And move these carrots out of the way. And there's our first ripe strawberries. So yes, we need to pick strawberries and get them done. We're gonna have a bumper crop this year because the strawberries are growing and they are beautiful and thriving. The brassicas are looking good. Here's a cabbage plant. It's small right now, but it is growing really good. And the jungleness of all the different crops are keeping things healthy and happy. Have a fantastic, wonderful growing season this day in your own garden. And hopefully this helps you to have diversity and to grow a jungle.